Remember, the key to success is working hard. For our country, we must have regard. Forget all your differences, let we start to build. And onward to progress we surely will. Because now, more than ever, we must show discipline, tolerance, and production.
Now more than ever, we must show discipline, tolerance, and production. Now is the time to build, not to break down. Now is the time to transform this place we call home. We have a duty to enhance it, to make it better for our children and children. I want to welcome you to this segment in the Dynamic Hour, where I will speak, laying a solid foundation for meaningful engagement. I want to encourage those on Facebook and YouTube to please share the live. Sharing is caring. I want to start off, as I did with the radio audience, to extend my deepest condolences, my deepest sympathy to the Catholic family in Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique, and those who are listening to me wherever around the world. Yesterday, we got the news of the passing of Pope Francis. He was a good soul. He was very simple, very humble. He was the people's pope. He was a servant. He was a pastor. He passed away at age 88, I think. And the Catholic Church is in mourning. And I sympathize with you. I want to say that we need to take some of the good that we saw over his reign, or the many good things that we saw over his reign, emulate that. Being simple, being humble, being meek, being, a pastor and not a king, right? Being a servant and not an emperor. He was different. He was simple. That is important. So, again, it is a time for the Catholic Church to reflect on that. And I know yesterday we heard from Bishop Harvey. Yesterday we heard that, a number of activities, because around Easter weekend, it's one of the holiest period for the church and for Christians all over. We heard that most of the events, the harvest and so on, that was cancelled or postponed. I think postponed was the word used. So again, it's kind of tough times. I want to also congratulate the athletes who made up the Carifta team for Grenada. You did well. You did us proud. We followed you keenly, and we were very impressed with your performance. You will be back in Grenada, I think sometime today. If some did not arrive here yesterday, but basically today, we congratulate you. We thank you for representing Grenada at your very best. You did us proud. 13 medals. I think we got 2 gold, 6 silver, and the rest in bronze. You did well. You did exceptionally well. And look, what I saw on display was talent. And I reflected on the period when there was no intercall, the period when there was no parish school sports, when there was no school sports, no athletic competition. I reflected on that, saying to myself that we lost a lot during that period. Because remember when the NNP administration removed the money from teachers' salary because they went and protest for their pension and gratuity, and there was this uh uh is it rule to something, right? Walk to rule based on the contract that they sign up for with the Ministry of Education. They were just working based on that, nothing extra. So all the sporting events and everything like that went out of the door. That was on hold. Nothing was happening for a number of years, and the NNP turned a blind eye to that. They just didn't care. When the NDC came into power, they paid back the money that the NNP administration took from the salaries of teachers, the hardworking teachers. And the work to rule ended, and everything came back to normal. So teachers were doing the extra curricular activities and events. So sporting events, science fairs, debates, that kind of thing. They were back doing that. And things start picking up again. I also, while following Carifta, reflected on the focus of the government to fix playing fields, to light up playing fields, to fix basketball courts, to fix netball courts, to invest more in grassroots clubs, right? Or clubs dealing with the young in the different communities and supporting them and helping them. Because we have some really good clubs around the country with coaches that, are dedicated to nurturing, to bringing up our young talents and shaping them and making sure that they have the gears and other things like that to be able to be a great athlete or a great sportsman or sportswoman. So, the government is injecting a lot in our communities to help the young ones, to shape them very early. And that is a good thing. That is a really, really good thing. Because this government is focused on building communities and identifying talents very early and helping them to enhance, to shape, to build, to become great. All right. Because if you check India, for example, they have invested a lot in cricket, a lot, from the community all the way up, millions and millions and millions of dollars. And you're seeing now, well, not only now, but a good while, 13-year-old, 14-year-old, right? I think it was 13-year-old or 14-year-old entering the Premier League and entering the world stage, if you want to call it that, playing cricket with big men. But the youngster is talented. So we are seeing a similar thing here in Grenada, where we are training our boys and girls to become a professional cricket player, a professional basketball player, a professional netball player, a professional athlete, identifying their strengths, whether they're good in the 100 meters, whether they're good in the high jump, whether they're good in the long jump, whether they're good with huddle or huddling or huddles, whether they're good with the 200 meters or the 400 meters, or the, Olympic, 5,000 meters or something of that sort, or Olympic 5,000 open, something like that, or 1,500, or, identifying what their strengths are early and building upon it. That is what you need. So we have been seeing that happening throughout Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique, in the community. So you have community centers also being refurbished, because you want everything to kind of go hand in hand. Most of the playing fields, they are close to a community center. The students or the athletes or the people who use the playing field, they would also use the community center, in some cases the restroom, or to have meetings, to discuss certain things, to look at the way forward. So it has to go hand in hand. So you see the government, they're fixing the playing fields, lighting it up, resurfacing it, making it what it's supposed to be, doing all the required testing and making sure that the surface is what it ought to be. And then you see the community centers also being refurbished and fixed. All right. Then you have close to that, because in many areas where you have a community center, you have a playing field, then you have a basketball court, you have a netball court, or in some instances, a tennis court. All right. So fixing that, upgrading that, it goes hand in hand. That is very, very, very good. I love to see that. I love to see that. So we are seeing the fruits of that investment. We're harvesting gradually from that injection, from that investment. And we want that to continue, because it all starts in the community. It all starts down there, grassroots. And if you can build it, you can nurture it from the roots, over time, we would celebrate our victories. Because look, Grenada is very small. If people don't know, Jamaica has a population, 2-3 million people? You have Trinidad, 1 point something million? Or it might be even more. Then you have Guyana, Barbados, St. Lucia. I mean, they all have, the Bahamas, they all have more people, more citizens than Grenada. Grenada is very small in the scheme of things. And to beat all these islands, right? And, Guyana is a country. It says a lot. It says that something is working here in Grenada. And we have to give commendation to the clubs. I mean, yes, the schools, they're doing their thing. The Ministry of Youth, they're doing their thing. Youth and sports. But the clubs in the community, identifying talents and nurturing it and building it and shaping it and helping them to find their way, to find their strengths. That is key. We have seen a lot of clubs in recent times working with athletes in the afternoons, in the evenings, because you have light now. And then you have the people in the diaspora who are passionate about sports. They're helping, sponsoring, gears and just name it, different items needed to help the athletes. So things are happening. Grenada did well. Grenada did exceptionally well. When you look at the other islands, Grenada is very small. So again, we have to commend all those who are involved, the coaches, the ministry, the parents who doing all that they can to help their children, to guide them, to support them. So we must be proud of this moment. Do not believe it's an easy fit to represent your country, a country as small as Grenada, or islands, right, or a state as small as Grenada, and get so much uh, medals, right? There are bigger islands than Grenada who did not even get a gold medal, who did not even get a silver medal. And normally, Carifta would be dominated by Jamaica and the Bahamas. But this time around, it was different. All right? It was different. It was shed. The competition was healthy. And if you followed it well, you would realize that it was healthy. And that is what you need in this scheme of things. You need healthy competition. No, because generally speaking, what we saw over the years was Jamaica dominating into Carifta. But that was not the case this time around. I think Grenada is making a bid to host Carifta, the next Carifta Games. So let's see how it goes. All right, folks. The Elevator program was launched officially. It was launched officially in St. Andrew. All right, and that was the best, in my view, the best place to launch it. The Elevator program that was launched, and I saw MTV did a nice short piece on it, and that's really wonderful.
Over 200 young women are set to benefit from the Elevator program, which is being spearheaded by the Division of Youth. Over the next 18 months, participants will receive intensive training in 3 key sectors: agriculture, health, and hospitality, all vital to the nation's development. During the launch at the Deluxe Cinema on Tuesday, officials emphasized that Elevator is not just a training program, but a stepping stone toward economic independence and personal empowerment for young women across the island. Participants from the Elevator program spoke and shared their opinions about the impact the program had on their personal and professional growth.
Well, I like the guest speakers and they really encourage us. I want that the young ladies to please let's not give up and let's make a difference. Whether you have this or you have that, come on, let's make a difference. There's a long way. The journey is very long, but we urge that we do not give up because we want to make something different for us and in the future. So please, let's not give up.
The goal is not just to provide training, but to create pathways to independence and long-term employment.
My biggest takeaway is no matter what happens in life, always keep strong, keep focused, and inspire to build yourself, inspire others, and grow. I'm looking forward to learning as much as I can, being a better person, building myself, helping others, and as a result, we'll be able to help our country.
My biggest takeaway was from my favorite inspiration, which is from Miss Anne-Marie Montrose. Always be willing to take small steps, be resilient, and never give up on your dreams. I'm looking forward to a very transformative journey towards this 1-year opportunity. I'm very excited to embrace my new skills and empower others as well.
As Grenada continues to invest in its people, Elevator is lighting the way for a new generation of empowered, educated, and employable women ready to lead the change. For MTV News, Michaela Mark.
Yes, so that's a very nice piece there by MTV. So the Elevator program is for 1 year, and they're training, guiding, mentoring, assisting the young women so that they can, become what they dream of becoming. So there are those who are interested in agriculture. They want to be something in agriculture. They want to start their own little farm. They want to go into livestock, animal husbandry. They want to go into uh, CMOS production. They want to go into planting short crops. They want to go into agro processing. They want to start their own thing, packaging, labeling. They want to go into marketing. They want to go into the tissue culture area as a chemist, biologist. So, they want to go into those areas. So they're guided, they're assisted, they're supported to go into those areas. And then you have health, right? There are so many areas within health. And I love that. I love to see that. And then hospitality. You have so many hotels in Grenada. You have so many guest houses in Grenada. So that's a good thing to train them, to guide them, to support them. So the government is on the right track. They're really helping a lot of young people. Last week, I looked at the amount of scholarships that they're giving to our young men and women. We calculated over $100 and something million, almost $200 million worth of scholarships in so many different areas given to our young ones. And the government continues to inject millions in that area. There are other youth programs, the Empower program. So the Elevate Her program is a new program introduced by the government of Grenada, focusing on young women who are in need of employment. And some of them, they are underemployed, right? Some of them, they are, so skilled that they need to be guided in certain areas. So unemployment. So I'm saying that this is great. Women, we saw women in agriculture. That program was launched. It's a new program again, where 100 young women will be given the necessary training and assistance. Because remember, they are given a stipend to keep them going. And I think that particular program is a $7-point-something million program, right? And then you have young men in agriculture. It's a $3-point-something million program, which is great. It's another 100 young men. And then you have the Empower program. The Empower program is one that existed before under the previous administration. But now this administration expanded that program, providing more. And I think I shared that with you, providing more for the young men. The stipend increase to $1,000. I think it used to be $700 under the NNP. They increased the stipend to $1,000, and they also increase the grant given to them from $2,400 to, I think, $3,000. All right, and the amount of young men who are in that program increased. I think it's 400 and something. That particular batch was 400 and something. Let me just see it.
Government is answering the call of the young people of Grenada to create the enabling environment for them to thrive. More than 300 young men in the Empower 4.0 program will see an increase in their stipend and a further increase in the grant allocation on completion of the program. Minister for Youth, Honorable Delma Thomas, made the announcement during the program's quarterly meeting on Thursday, which marked the end of the soft skills component and signaled the start of the direct skills component.
I remember vividly you raised the issue that your stipend was small. So I do have an announcement that as a cabinet, we have approved $1,000 for the stipend as of the 1st of December. Yes, but remember you was getting 7, they was keeping 1. So you will now get 9. And the 1 will be kept until the end of the program. But you are already getting that, so we're giving you 9 now. And I am also pleased to announce that those who are going to be completing the program, we had $2,400 for those who are going to set up their own business. Cabinet has also approved an increase of $3,000.
Right. So, yes. So the Empower program existed under the NNP, but it's a good program. So the NDC expanded that program and now providing more in terms of the stipend. They increased the stipend that the young men used to get. And also the grant. Because remember, the Empower program is to help the young men to start their own business or to go into a particular area that they love, that they are passionate about, to guide them, to support them, to train them, to get them ready for that particular day when they would start their own little business. So upon completion of the program, they would get a grant, money that they don't have to pay back. So the NNP was giving them $2,400. The NDC decided to give them $3,000, which is great, which is wonderful. And then the program is such that they were keeping back every month $100. So upon the completion of the program, they would get that lump sum. They would get that 100 all the way through, which is great. And they can take it from there with support from the ministry and so on. I love that. So they kept that. And then you saw with the Imani training program, the NDC kept that program, the new Imani training program, but they increased the stipend that the Imani trainees were getting. Under the NNP, they were getting $700, $800, $900, and some were getting as much as $1,000. The NDC increased it to $1,200 across the board. So all the Imani trainees, they're receiving $1,200 as a stipend. You see, sometimes people can forget where they were and where they are today. They can forget very easily what they used to get back then compared to now. Our people have that tendency. You know, you look at other programs, other things that the government did. So, for example, we remember the public officers, retired and those who are currently working, protesting so frequently for what was rightfully theirs. Every Monday morning, they were on the street, marching, protesting for their pension, for their gratuity. Well, you got that pension and you got that gratuity, and you continue to get your pension until your death, until you go on to the great beyond. But that was not there before. For many of you, under the NNP, that was not there. The 13% increase in your salaries over a 3-year period. Normally, when you have to get an increase, you had to go and fight for it, match for it, and the NNP would still offer you 0.something% increase. But under the NDC, you got 13% increase over a 3-year period, but you also have attached to that the fringe benefits, all the benefits and so on. That was not there before. All right? So there are things that you're enjoying today that you never had under the NNP, but then you forget so quickly. 3,000 plus Grenadians have been assisted to date with material assistance, housing assistance. 3,000 in the last 2 years and some. That's a lot. That's a big feat for any government. And then you have so many houses being built for people who are in need. You move from not having one to having one, or your house in a state of disrepair or dilapidated, or, and you got assistance. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. There are places where you never had a road. You had to walk, on dirt roads. Never had a concrete road or a asphalt paved road, or, you have that today. You have roads, drains being constructed. There are places where you had serious water problem. You have water today. All right? Appreciate it. And don't forget it. Because people can forget things very easily. You have a pilot bus system, right? School bus system in place, a program in place. We didn't have that before. We have that now. Appreciate it. The WASH program. Look at the amount of people who are getting bathroom and toilets. You didn't have that before. You come from having a pit latrine to having a flushable toilet. Appreciate it. That is important. Very, very important. There are so many other things that you need to appreciate. And unless you forget, because I can tell you, people tend to forget quickly. In fact, they forget the good things quickly, but the bad things they would remember. But the good things, you never had internet access. Now you're part of the JUMP program. You have internet access. You have a device. They train you to use the device. So I'm saying we have to be thankful. We have to be grateful because things are happening for people. Our country is on the up, moving forward. We saw brothers and sisters in culture in Japan working hard to promote what we have here in Grenada because we're looking for new markets. So the Japanese and the people in Asia can come to Grenada and experience Grenada. Our culture was on display. And we have to big that up, right? My good friend Paley Dabo is saying, look, the pay and grade for the police officers, that was something that they were negotiating for a very, very long time under the NNP. And now the police officers, they have a place that they can call home, a new headquarters, and they also have additional cash, an increase in their salaries. $700 from constable all the way up. As you go up, the increase will be different, but it will impact the entire Royal Grenada Police Force. And this is big. So they never had that before. Now they're having it. We have to be thankful and grateful for that. All right? So I was saying, in Japan, our culture was on display. And we have to commend and applaud our cultural ambassadors. And you know what I love? Carriacou and Petit Martinique was represented as part of that delegation. So not just mainland Grenada, but Carriacou and Petit Martinique was represented at that cultural display and promotion in Japan. And, the Japanese people are very, very nice people. I have been to Japan, all right? I've been to Japan, and that is one of the most well-mannered, disciplined, hardworking, educated, humble people I've ever experienced. And I've traveled to quite a number of countries around the world. But the Japanese, they impress me a lot. So, kudos to the Honorable Joseph Andel. I saw him there in Japan with the delegation. So kudos to you. And then we have our beloved Prime Minister who was out there in Qatar and that part of the world. That's a very good move. Engaging new markets, building new relationships. Because when you build new relationships, you would see benefits, not just for Grenada, but for both countries. And that is what we are seeing. Because Grenada never moved to Asia and the Middle East in terms of building relationships, forging new ties, and Africa. We were just focused on Europe, North America, Latin America, and South America, and so on. But the world is vast. There are so many countries around the world that you need to build relationships with so it can benefit your citizens over time. So this is big. The NNP cannot see that vision. They don't understand what is taking place. All they can see is this one traveling and that one traveling. They can't see down the road. They have no vision. The NNP, the New National Party, and all of that, they have no vision. But what you see our government is doing is tactical and strategic. You need to find new markets. You need to find new partners. You need to be there at the table, at the decision-making table, to really have a say. You have to build relationships. You have to maintain relationships. And that is diplomacy. That is diplomacy. So again, I want to commend the Most Honorable Deacon Mitchell, our beloved Prime Minister, who continues to lead from the front, who continues to build greater bonds and ties with different countries and explore new markets for all of our people. That is good. Kudos. Thumbs up. Big things are happening for Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. The governance style is so different under the NDC. When NNP was in power and Keith Mitchell was Prime Minister, it always used to be contentious, confrontational, bacchanalish, always some kind of drama, always some kind of stupidness happening under the NNP. But we have a stable government, a stable leader, a visionary leader in the Most Honorable Deacon Mitchell. And the government is governing for the people and by the people and with the people. You see them in communities, listening, engaging constituents, socializing with constituents. They're accessible. It's just different. It's a different style of governance. And just imagine for a moment that we regress by changing that style of leadership and that style of governance. Just imagine going back to the old dark days of the NNP, right? It's kind of not possible. Yes, we know that, things could change, but deep down you're saying this thing can't be possible. Because Grenadians want betterment. Grenadians want to improve, constantly so. Grenadians want to be seen on the regional and international stage as, we know what we're about. We want a better future. We have a good leader. But just reflecting and thinking and, saying to yourself, there are those here in Grenada who want to see us go backwards to the dark days of NNP being in power with all this bacchanal and confrontation, all this stupidness. There are people like that. You listen to some of them and you say, but wait, you want that? You really want that? You know? And you see now the NNP putting together different caretakers for some of these constituencies. And you wonder, people are beginning to understand the strategy of the NNP. They believe because we have a lot of women in the population that some way, somehow, the women of Grenada will just vote for them because they put up a woman candidate. That is what they believe. All right? Deep down, that is what they believe. So they believe if they can put a woman in this constituency, a woman in that constituency, a woman in that constituency, then the women in that constituency will just somehow forget competence, forget ability, forget about everything else and just vote for a woman. That is what they believe. But that's not the case. In Grenada, Grenadians are smart. Grenadians have more sense than that. This woman card that they're trying to play will not sell, will not fly. Because Grenadians want more than that. Because if you have a position available, right? If you open up a position, you're looking for an employee, the person could be a male or a female. But once the person is competent, once they're capable of filling that position and doing the work, you shouldn't just look at the gender, whether the person is a female or a male, and you go by that. Even if the person is not capable, even if the person is not competent, that is actually what the NNP is pushing down the throats of our people. And they're going about pushing that kind of narrative. It's kind of woman card. Because to them, that is what would sell. But our people have moved on. Our people are smarter. Our people are following current affairs. Our people are on the ball when it comes to the politics, when it comes to economics, when it comes to governance, when it comes to this country moving forward. All right? So we have to remain focused and understand that a lot is happening for people. Plenty is happening for people. Don't forget, folks, we're going to Carriacou on the 21st of June. Tickets are available. All right, we're going to Carriacou on the 21st of June. It's $100 for the tickets return. All right, so it's $100. And we have a well-packed itinerary, schedule, activities. We have everything well-packed for you. We leave here early. We go up to Carriacou. We go around the island, Carriacou, Paradise Beach. That is the hub. That's where we will be, having a wonderful time, partying, drinking, eating, bathing, wonderful. That's where we will be, celebrating 3 years of accomplishments and looking at some of the things that the NDC was able to do post burial. All right? So you could organize your crew, organize your friends, and say, well, we're going up in Carriacou and spend the day. All right? So we're going up with the Osprey, 2 Osprey. All right? The both Ospreys, going up to Carriacou with that, with the 2 boats. And we're coming down, during the night time. So it will be a nice time for you to have fun with friends. All right? So you could organize a couple of your friends and say, well, we're going up to Carriacou for that day, the entire day. Because I think we will be coming down about 10, 11 in the night. All right? So you can have a wonderful time in Carriacou. So mobilize and organize. The tickets It's $100. And you're going to be hearing some more about it. You're going to see the flyer and that kind of thing out there sometime during this week. All right. And then the folks in New York, don't forget, May is what? How many days from today? You have eight, it's about 8 days. Yeah, about 8 days from today. Or 8 days again. And then we go into May. So May the 31st is the last day in May. It's a Saturday. All right. So May the 31st, it is a Saturday. And we will be in the backyard. All right. Well, it's called the backyard. 618 East 87th Street in Brooklyn. All right. In New York. I think it's close to Canarsie. I think so. All right. But I'm saying it's a good event to be at. It's an event organized in my honor as I celebrate 11 years in radio, 11 years in radio, doing this program, and also we celebrating 3 years as government, as a party, as people who saw the light, voted for the NDC to be in power from the government. 3 years. All right. It would mark 3 years. And then, I have embarked upon the studio project. It will take some finance to get that studio going because I'm actually building from scratch a studio. All right. It's not like we're going to rent anything from scratch, and it requires some cash. We had some cash already, purchased the land, right? Purchased the land, or we excavated, we did some stuff. All right, we did some stuff. So when I come, I will update you on where we are at. But in the meanwhile, if you want to give towards this cause, towards this undertaking, you can, because it's really to raise some funds to continue with that project. So that's the real purpose of me coming. It is to raise some much needed funds towards that project, the studio project. All right. So again, if you want to give something towards that cause, tickets will be available for the event. 40 US tickets will be available for the event. All right. You'll be able to Zelle and even if you're not able to come on that day, still sponsor a couple tickets. A good friend right here sent me a message to say, hey, Kem, I want to sponsor 3 tickets for Carriacou and 3 tickets for New York. She said, I wouldn't be there, but I want you to be successful. I want your studio to become a reality. And I want everything that you do to be successful. All right? So again, that is the kind of thing that must happen. You can sponsor some tickets. All right? Tickets for New York, it's 40 US, 40 US, New York. It's an event organized by some good people in New York in my name and honor, which is really great. I know other friend is doing something towards that too. All right. Mitch, how are you doing? The real Mitch. I know he's organizing something too. Right. They're nice people. His wife, she's a darling too. So again, it's what it is. It's a situation where trying to get to that point, it will take some cash. So even if you're there and you want to sponsor, maybe you want to sponsor something. So you might say, well, boy, I want to sponsor 500 US or 1,000 US or 200 US or something towards that undertaking. Or maybe you want to be there at the event, 618 East 87th Street. You can be there. Music will be played, by my good pal, DJ Screw, and I think two other DJs. I would get their names, the DJ names, and share that with you. We're gonna have some food, we're gonna have some drinks, on sale, that kind of thing. Party, have a nice time in New York. All right, in New York. So I will share with you the number you can Zelle. Even now, you can Zelle towards this undertaking. All right, so you can Zelle to this number. You can Zelle to this number. All right, so it's a different number. So you can Zelle. You can Zelle to, most people in New York, they can easily use Zelle. Right, so you can Zelle to this number. All right, so this number here, you can Zelle to that number if you want to support the studio project and the event. So Zelle to this number to support the new studio and radio station project, because it's really a radio station that I'm setting up, a modern radio station. All right, project. So that is, so you can actually Zelle to that. All right, so let me just make sure I get all right, good. So that's the Zelle number. You're going to be hearing some more about it. So that's the Zelle number. All right, let me make sure I get it here right. So you can Zelle to that, and you can send me, as you normally do, you just send me a message saying, hey, I Zelle $50, I Zelle $100, I Zelle $1,000, Zelle $500 towards your project. All right, so the number 1347 539 0274. So that's the number you can Zelle to. All right. I think I need to edit. I made a mistake with the spelling. Is it? I think so. I think I made a mistake there. Right, it should be radio at the end. Oh boy, let me just edit this. No. Yeah, I think I made a mistake there. The whole thing got tied up. All right, so let me do that over. So you can Zelle to this number. Yeah, I think I made a mistake there. The whole thing got tied up when I tried to move it. Right, so yeah, the word and everything got all tied up. All right, so let me just get it right. Let me make sure I get it right. All right, Zelle to this number to support all right, okay, right, so we have this here, studio and radio station project. All right, so you can actually Zelle, right? You can actually Zelle to that. So this is better. I made a mistake earlier. So this is better. So if you are in the United States of America, that's an easy way to support this project, to support this undertaking. If you're in the diaspora, wherever you are, you can still support by messaging me, calling me, and I can give you, the name. You can send it via MoneyGram Western Union, right? Via MoneyGram or Western Union. You can do that towards this project. That's so important. All right. So remember, the initial plan was to rent a place in the city. When I think about it, the rent $1,400, that's $4,000 a month. All right. If you calculate that over a 1 year period, you're looking at about what? $48,000. All right. So that same $48,000, you just add a couple more $1,000s to it, and you get a piece of land. And then you start building on it to build that studio. And that would be, you have ownership of that. That's progress. That's thinking down the line. All right. So we were able to purchase the piece of land. We were able to excavate the piece of land. We were able to, get the deed and the plan for the piece of land. We were able to purchase materials, because you know how I do it. I'm not able to purchase all the blocks, all the steel, all the cement, all the lumber at once. No. So what I was doing, every month, we buy some, buy some, buy some. So we have some materials, right? A good amount of materials towards the construction of the studio project, studio and radio station. Because that is what I have been doing. I know how to manage piece by piece by piece. You can't, it's not like I have $300,000 sitting there. No. All right. So that is because, there are a lot of people in radio and talk show, and they don't think like I do. They don't think progressively. So they're on some kind of thing, and that's not me. No. So I have been very progressive from day one. So what I'm trying to achieve here is to have a modern studio and radio station. That is what I'm trying to achieve. So if you're out there, you're in Grenada, and you feel the urge to support this project, to give towards it, you can. You can sponsor. You can donate. You can say, hey, Kim, I want to give $1,000 towards that project, that undertaking. I want to give $500 towards that. Right? I want to give $5,000 towards that. Me and my family put together, we want to help you and support you with this project, with this undertaking. So the event in New York, that event is towards raising some much needed funds towards this station, towards the radio station, towards the studio. All right. And I can tell you, we have started the process. We have come a long way, but we have a long way to go still. All right. So again, I want to say to you, you're out there, or you're here in Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique, you listen to me, you follow me. This particular project is a very, very important one. It's dear to me. So if you zeal something towards it, let me know. And, I would express my thanks and appreciation to you. If you want to send something via Western Union or MoneyGram towards it, no problem. All right, because it is what it is. Good. But you have to understand the strategy. Understand the strategy. Because the same studio, the same radio station will be used for the purpose of keeping what we have alive and well. Making sure that this party and government continues in power. All right? So you have to understand the bigger strategy. The bigger strategy. But we can do it. Also, and maybe I'll do that tonight, because every around now, I normally send up provision and other things to Carriacou, because they have Saraka, they have this kind of thing going on. And I normally ask, they normally ask me to send up some stuff. So if you're out there and you're listening, you're in Grenada, and you have, blogger, fig, yam, dasheen, cabbage, carrots, things like that. If you're listening to me and you have that available, link me up now, because tomorrow I have to tomorrow evening, set up a couple bags of that to Carriacou. Normally, if I don't get, I would spend and buy the stuff. For years I've been doing that. Spend and buy the stuff and send it up. All right. And I know my good friend Winston, he's looking forward to that again. He reminded me yesterday, don't forget, the stuff to come up. And that's to feed the people. Because the Saraka, they normally prepare food free to feed the people. So if you're out there, you have fig, maybe you have blogger, maybe you have dasheen, maybe you have plantain, maybe you have yam, maybe you have, things like that. It will go a long way to helping them up there. All right, with that event that they have coming up. So you could call me, could let me know, and I could arrange, pick it up or so. If it's too far, then it's a problem for me, because I don't have transport to see. I could organize something. All right. So let's see how it goes. So maybe I'll announce that, because you want the people on the radio and also those online to hear. So I'll do that tonight. So folks, I want to wish you all the best. So those two events, we're still working on the boat, the cruise. We have not signed up on that yet. But the two events that I told you about, New York and Carriacou, to go up to Carriacou with the Osprey, those two events have been confirmed, and we're working on that. I want to wish you all the best. Have a nice day. I will be back with you tonight in the hub, starting from 8 in the PM. Bye for now.